The other thing, Amari Cooper's contract. Barry talked about that, as well as Cooper's importance to the Browns.
I think everybody here understands what Amari has meant to this organization and our affinity for him. He's an excellent player, outstanding human being. He's a really good professional. And one of the things that's interesting with Amari, assuming normal health, he has a chance to get to 10,000 yards this year. A big part of our success last year, and we were glad we were able to resolve the situation coming into camp.
Technically, you can do that in the same.
Yeah. So Tony, nothing that we've done would preclude us from, extending him. That's correct.
Casey, I know you wrote an article on the restructured contract and what do you kind of your lay of the land, what it means now and moving forward with Cooper for the Browns.
Well, first and foremost, it gives him stability for this year, some guaranteed money, a potential raise with the incentives for $5 million. But most importantly, it gets him on the field, it gives him the full runway of camp to learn this new offense, to get acclimated. Obviously, it gives Watson the comfortability of having his top receiver in camp as they're working through new things, nuances, option routes, the things we've discussed at length. So that's huge. But it also allows the rest of the receivers to be slotted appropriately. Had he not been there, everyone would have kind of had to step up a level, and why that might give you more opportunities, but it doesn't allow the coaches to evaluate you on what your role actually will be. Him being there does that. But I think the biggest thing is, with no years added on, which I think we all kind of expected there'd be some sort of an extension, whether it was a year or two, for them just to cut it off now, just to get him on the field. Now they could revisit that. But what it does is it opens up every option on the table going forward. So in 2025, the only veteran on contract right now is Jerry Jeudy. Everyone else will be in their rookie deals. This opens up a door for someone like Elijah Moore, who I kind of viewed as a dead man walking, so to speak, if they would have extended Cooper. Well, then now if he performs over and above his abilities, you kind of see an avenue to get him at a cheaper contract and start to fill these pieces in. And we spoke about it before. They need some of these kids on rookie deals to perform. Well, if that were to happen now, you have more avenues open to sustain your wide receiver room. If you see a big jump out of a Cedric Tillman or Jamari Thrash explodes on a seam as a vertical threat, or someone like David Bell, so it kind of opens those up. But then you also have to keep in mind, you have a first-round pick next year, something you haven't had the luxury of the last 3 drafts. That kind of opens that up for you. Maybe you go at a wide receiver if you don't see the development that you need, or you look at the free agent market, with players like Brandon Ayuk coming in the final year of his deal, or someone like T. Higgins, that could prove to be enticing. Now, it's hard for me to get my mind around the Browns throwing top dollar at a wide receiver market like that. They tend to look through a trade or something, but that avenue is still open. And then you always have the option of extending Cooper. If you don't see the growth out of these young guys, you get halfway through a season, Coop's performing, maybe you make a run at doing that. Or because of the good faith that you build up with Cooper and guaranteeing his money this year, maybe you let the season play out, let him test the market and see what he feels and see if he circles back, and maybe you can match that. But I think the bottom line is you got your number 1 wide receiver for the year, and every option is open on the table for 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, I found it interesting when Cooper met with the media a couple days ago before the weekend. He said holding out of training camp was not an option. That wasn't anything he was interested in doing because he's very regimented.
Yeah, very regimented. But if you're his agent, he's got zero guaranteed dollars. It's hard to encourage him showing up for that.
No, I found it interesting that he actually, when asked about it, he was like, "Yeah, I wasn't going to hold out." So that's how how friendly the negotiations were, if you will.
Yeah. And Cooper's just a unicorn in general. You don't find very few true number 1 wide receivers who are not divas, who always say the right things. Cooper's always that guy. He's always going to say the right thing and put the team first.
Yeah, and that's why, assuming he stays healthy and looks like Amari Cooper, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't find a way to get him a couple more years. We'll see.